Well, welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host, Adwin is Timeless, also known as Adwin Eagle, also known as Time Lord Brian. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o coming from his galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And I would like to thank my sponsors, Lurking Class. Are you lurking? And I'd like to thank Guinness Extra Stout. So y'all know how I do it. Pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. Welcome, welcome, welcome. On this very beautiful day here in the Great White North. All I can say is, ain't we funky now? I love when the weather gets nice. Sebastian, what's happening? Aggie Pride, the one, you know that. Anise, thank you for the kind words. Good evening to you. Jesse Lynn, thank you for joining me. Antoine Graham, what's happening? I was wondering, where did they have tornadoes at? I guess I didn't see that part where tornadoes was. Tornadoes was somewhere. Man, this light glare is just looks like it's just too much. I'm getting that halo effect. I'm probably gonna have to kill those lights. So give me a second because I'm seeing that ain't going away. Of course, I had to step in the cat water. Oh, that ain't coming from up there. That's coming from somewhere else. Oh, a little better. Turn the lights back on. All right. That took some effort not to step in water. Still getting that halo. I'm not sure. Well, I guess that's a little better. Hey, Lobo, what's happening? Tonight I'm going to start with a little pimp work, and I want to thank one of my other sponsors. So, if people don't know, I know when you think of most people think of perfume, they think of something that women have, but they sell like Tom Ford sells some good perfumes, but they have perfume for men. And this is the thing is it's like you could spray your jackets or something that you don't wear as often with this stuff, and it'll stay with you all day. And I just kind of want to show you kind of the difference in the two. Now, this is pretty good. This is actually pretty good, and it will stay with your clothes all day. But again, this is cologne. This isn't perfume. So what's the difference is there's less essence of the ingredient in there. It's not as strong. Not very expensive. You know, Macy's always hooks me up. But this right here is the real deal. This is the real deal right here. This is perfume. Now, I know men think that just women wear perfume. You don't need much of this. You put this on, like if you and it's always great to have the aftershave with it. Aftershave ain't that great for your skin, but you put this on, you pimping all day. I mean, this will like that Paco will stay with you too, but you put this on, and I mean it will it will almost all day smell like you just sprayed it. Someone will think that you just sprayed it. So this kind of stuff, it ain't cheap. I'm stupid and I bought this little bottle. Yeah, this stuff ain't cheap. So I guess I want to start with yeah, this is the Johnny Depp stuff. This is the Johnny Depp stuff. This one is 125. They got a bigger one that's 155. It's the better deal. It's the better deal. But this stuff is the real. Like I got Polo Blue I just spray on every day, and the Paco I spray on, depending on what I do. But if I'm like dating, I spray on that. That Johnny Depp Jeff stuff is the bomb. Got to keep the smell good for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, Antoine, that's the Johnny Depp stuff. But I'm doing wonderful. I'm feeling wonderful. Again, anytime the weather is nice up here, I spend hours. Oh yeah, wow, I spent about 45 minutes sun gazing, and it is again. I think I don't know. I don't think that was the sun today, at least in my area. I can't speak for everywhere, but I think in my area, I think it was the simulator, and that's what it seemed like. It seemed like the sun simulator instead of the actual sun today, but couldn't really tell. I am getting some funky lighting for some reason. I am getting a haze. I'm not sure where it's coming from. But I think it was the simulator. Again, the simulator appears closer than the actual sun. So that's what it appeared like. But it's still good. It's still good for cat hair everywhere. It's still good for if you want to burn out all this stuff that they put in us, and gazing really does that. And like what you do is near sunset, you first look at it where you can't stand, where you just kind of want to flash your eyes open and close and to see what colors show. But this is what's so interesting. So remember, if you're talking about your first eye, you're talking about, you're going to take the information here and something deep inside of your head that sits roughly back there inside here, though. That is how far it's penetrating. And when you use your first eye, that's how far it's coming. It's coming from that deep inside of you out. But it's a great way to burn a lot of that calcification out. So wanted people to be aware of that. And so it was a nice experience of again, stood up for about a half hour. This is something that's just gonna drive me nuts. Oh, okay. Nothing. Fuzz. All right. And so and then the colors that will come off. I think today I got some greens, some oranges, some blues, and so it's just a nice practice that I've been doing for about a year or two, a couple years now. The moon looked closer last night too. See, last night we had rain all night. We had rain all night last night. What is giving me that halo? Where is the halo coming from? I don't know. I am just getting this weird. Maybe that was it. We had rain last night, so last night was a no-no. The night before, the night of the full moon, though, I actually got to go out after I got done. Went outside, and it was okay. It was okay. So maybe that is it. Where's my other? My children aren't very careful. All right. Well, I hope everybody liked the experience last night. Again, we go at it. Oh, okay, that's it right there. We both go at the one divineness. I hope you appreciated. The work she put in last night. We both go in. Both have our own way of doing it a little different. But it either way is acceptable. And so I wanted to say this, and I guess I'm not really backtracking, but I want to say this when it goes into chakras, I couldn't teach you. I guess that's my thing. It's like I could not teach you the way when I use it, I couldn't teach that. I wouldn't know how to open up all those worlds. I couldn't teach what I experience. And so therefore I don't I don't try to teach from that vantage point, because for me it ain't just up and down here. It would be the whole universe kind of thing that I would put out. I couldn't teach that, and so I guess I would just stay. And not saying this a way is right or wrong. It's just like I couldn't teach what I experienced, and so I think I would be the wrong person to try to teach that, because of where my knowing comes from compared to how most people could perceive it. So there's no one wrong way. Swag. Another full moon tonight. Yeah, another full moon tonight. When I get done with this, I'm gonna go out again. The sun seemed brighter than usual. I just, when it's the real sun, well, of course, like my nephew said, sun has rays, and so when you see the simulator, now one thing that the simulator does is it doesn't appear to have rays, and it appears whiter. It's always, and I'm not saying wide, I'm saying whiter. There's a whiteness that appears to be in the simulator that you don't necessarily see in the sun. But I'll say this on sun gazing is, if it's sort of cloudy and you gaze at the sun, it will almost like the clouds will open up. And that's a kind of a funny thing that it does. The clouds will kind of open up a little bit, and then you'll be able to connect definitely. As Akhenaten said, the atom, the atom. How do I want to do this? Early in my journey, I used to burn an apple cider vinegar to gasify. Okay, that's a good way too. I think my brother was saying another protective thing that could really open up is the apple cord cider. That's what my brother was suggesting using. And always, I'll send crystal love through the wand. This is the jade. May the ancestors of the original America reach everyone through this jade as you watch. May the ancient ones reach you through this Numite. Rocrandonite. May your heart open with love through the Rocrandonite. Most of them are pink, but I always like this one because it was pink and black. And I want to say this is one of the first crystals. I've had this since 15. So I've had this about 6 years. But most of them are pink, but I like this because it's the pink and black. But may your heart open with love, energy sending out. I have too much crap up here. I am going to start doing a series where I actually highlight certain crystals. I do want to do that. And so, all right. And I've showed some of this before, but I just want to give it to the proper reference. I was talking to somebody tonight. I carry like this, and this is like 7 or 8 crystals that I carry. Because in the winter, I carry more crystals in the winter and the fall. All right, so here we go. The crystal that I want to highlight tonight is called, let's see. I don't know if I want to read all that he says, because it's quite a bit. I might just read what he talks about too. All right, so the crystal I want to highlight tonight is called kyanite. And kyanite is found in Brazil, South Africa, Switzerland, Burma, Kenya, New Mexico, and the USA. It forms elongated, flat blade-like crystals. Most popular colors for metaphysical use is blue, indigo, green, and black. But it can also be white, pink, yellow, or gray. Kyanite has a high vibration and creates very rapid transfers of energy. They open up the psychic channel, activate the mind and centers, actuating one's mental capacities, enhancing telepathic communication between individuals easier, especially if both parties are using them. So what he's saying is both parties are holding a piece of kyanite. It's easier for both parties to use your telepathy. And but They can make, okay, if one chooses to sleep with blue kyanite, the process of lucid dreaming will be greatly stimulated. Blue kyanite can link the physical and astral casual bodies, catalyzing full consciousness and waking, dreaming, and dreamless sleep. One must work at this. This is worth it when the goal is activated. Blue kyanite can be combined with green kyanite to bring their energies into resonance with their heart center. Using both stones together, one can channel a higher frequency vibrating to self-healing and other beneficial pursuits. Green kyanite can also keep the kyanite psychic openings centered in the heart, protecting one from self-enhanced psychic ability for ego trip. Green kyanite can create a bridge between oneself and the dynamic balance of nature in natural systems, such as ecosystems or living bodies. There's a tendency toward finding a stable equilibrium. Nature compromises and readjusts to changing conditions as its stream of life flows through time. Green kyanite helps one to feel the ever-moving, perfect, flowing balance of the Teo life force of the universe. It helps one to connect with the truth of the heart. It can aid in discerning truth in one's environment, whether one is listening to the TV news or a friend or family member. If someone is not speaking it from their heart, one will know it. So it's telling you that you carry this green, and it kind of, you can see the false narrative in people. So no matter, even if just television, if someone is not necessarily, it is not necessarily a lie detector, but it is a sincerity detector. Having this stone around helps one live from the heart's truth. It is very rewarding because this is the heart's truth. It means one is not looking outward for answers. Green kyanite can also open portholes to inner domains. First and most easily, one can enter the realm of the nature spirits and the devas. With a bit experience and willingness to let go, one can reach the casual plane, where the archetypes exist and where the great patterns of events are shaped before they manifest our world. Working from being centered in the heart, one can go to many places with green kyanite. Even astral travel or other planes is possible. Green kyanite can powerfully enhance dream life and can facilitate getting into the lucid dream state. For this should be placed in the pillowcase or taped to the third eye. Motivite can be added to these effects. Interesting. Black kyanite can clear blocked energies in any chakras and can replenish any meridian system in both the grounding, energizing, and increasing one vibrational frequencies without taking it out of the body. It is useful in the energetic healing because it clears imbalances and brings forth an unhindered flow through one's vision. And again, this is the only crystal that grows away from itself. It won't grow in the same pattern. It will grow away from itself, as you can see. And I'm sorry I didn't show the blue kyanite. And I used to wear this every day until it didn't want to be worn anymore. The silver was eaten into it, so I had to free it. Black kyanite can take one back to past lives, forward to probable futures. It teaches one to experience interdimensional consciousness without losing one's connection to Earth. Black kyanite combined synergetically with pneumite. Both are powerful and dynamic stones that help one plumb the depths of the subconscious world and return to this world with fresh insights. And let me see if Natasha always gives. Kyanite is one of the most prominent allies to be used for crystal resonant theory and other forms of crystal-based healing. It can clear a person's energetic field and create a protective shield that will provide a safe place for which to do psychic work and healing. Kyanite's frequency mandates one to act upon intuitive and guidance, building strong bridges between the inner and outer selves. Spiritual, kyanite stimulates the third eye and psychic ability. It helps bridges blockage in the energetic and psychic body and helps protect the auric field from intrusion. It can facilitate telepathy and transfer energy from person to person. Habitual emotion patterns can create blockage in the energetic field, which sits as a skip in a record. The same inner dialogue and emotional content play themselves endlessly. Kyanite can aid in bridging those patterns, helpfully quickly create new pathways in the flow and bring intermediate shifts in one's perception. Kyanite can help bridge the energy gaps caused by bone breakage, surgery, and other intrusive trauma, assisting nerves, tissues to reestablish pathway through and around the trauma site. The affirmation is, I will cross the inner bridge, which leads to growth and openings in the etheric realms, in the world of nature, in the land of the hearts. And again, this is Simmons' Big Book of Stones. So just wanted to share. I tend to keep this one in my pillow. I sleep with this one, but I let it out every now and then. I charged it in the moon energies the other day. And again, the black, I put this in all my corners. You want to set up a strong vortex. You put this and these in the corners. Yeah, it's not much coming. And I do put a little black tourmaline too, but this stuff, and you can get these in just small flakes. And with this in the corners, ain't nothing coming in there. Pretty much everything will leave you alone. So, and then the blue. I used to wear this. This is the first crystal I ever started wearing, was this one. I wore this probably about 2 years before it was like, because there's a lot of damage to it. You can kind of see the damage that the thing wearing it kind of did. And then in my bag, it's supposed to be in a bag. I have a bag to put it in, but just bouncing around with all these crystals. So I try to be careful with it. So what's happening? Let me see. Third eye crystal. Early in my journey, that would be awesome. Third eye crystal. Can you spell kyanite? Yeah. It is Kyanity. So let me see. I'll put it in there. Kyanite. And these are very cheap crystals. Now, especially getting these little flakes, you can probably get these little flakes for $1 or less, just depending on your shop. But you can get big, pretty pieces. And so that's interesting because I found the Numite don't, when other than I find that this doesn't really like, when I work with this, it appears not to like to work with other crystals. That's my experience. That he's saying you can work with it. I haven't found that to be true. When I work with Numite, it has to be alone. So I find that interesting that he thinks that I don't find that. That's not in my experience. In my experience, it doesn't really work to me. It doesn't like working with other crystals. And as it showed, crystals don't ever have to be recharged. That was a good catch. Crystals have to be released. And so blue kyanite and selenite are one way to release your crystals. So you do a little work and you get done, and the crystal may have taken a little pressure off you. And then if you could put it on, like you could lay it like, just lay it on here. And for a time, it will release the energies. It will release it for you, because crystals can get full. And so you do want to release them from time to time. Now selenite, you never put in water because it will disappear. But others, you could rinse them too, but this is a little stronger release. And the kyanite will do the same. That's kind of why I keep it in the bag of the other crystals. If the other crystals have to do some work, it's in there constantly with them to kind of clear them out as well. So once they do the work, there's something in there that will constantly clear them out. So, but I hope you guys liked last night. We're going to do it at least once a month, I think. Because she's going to start building her channel and her business. And so, I just think she has a different technique, and I hope people appreciated that technique. Oh, what's the most expensive crystal you have owned? My Charoite. My Charoite was $200 out of Russia. It's in the other room. But my Shawrite was $200. Well, I'll say this: my cave. I have an amethyst cave, and it's a big piece of amethyst, about probably two. What is that? About 20, 30, about 30 inches high, and it's about that wide. And it's something. It's my cave, so I can throw my consciousness into that. But that was I bought that one on sale. That was $400, and so I got it for two because he in the summer times he has a right after 4th of July. My crystal guy has a 50% off. So, but yeah, $200 is about the most. But if you ask me how much I've spent, yeah, I think in 15 alone, I must have spent ooh, a lot. In 15 alone, I spent a lot of money on crystals in 15 alone. And so, but that's the most I did buy my serpentine figure. Uh I think I paid 160, and he's that big. He's the wear baby of my serpentine. I keep them all in a box together. So yeah, that's the most. Hey, Overstand. What's happening? But I mean, you can like it's like these big amethyst towers that people have, like they're matching pieces, but you can have one on each side. Those crystals can be up there. Have you ever done crystal work with psychedelics? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I have. I mean, crystal work with smoking this good bud is a kind of psychedelic. So yeah, yeah, I do that. Um, it can give you a push. Working with the psychedelics can give you a push. It can. Uh, and like especially this kind of stone that will um help cut through a few things, but it will also help you remember as well. Numite will help you remember the experience too. But that's why they call this as the saucer stone or the source's stone, because it's a good companion, especially to remember the experience, not just do it, actually retain the experience. So, uh, so yeah, good weed will do that too. Like some people need to take DMT. Yeah, I can reach it with just this. So I don't need to take something. I don't need to take something that strong. You can reach it without it, but it's up to the individual. It is definitely up to the individual. Should have had a piece of chocolate over here. Shaman work. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes, yeah, it's like that. I know when I had to get in touch with my cousin when he was in between worlds, so I had to locate him to see what he was going to do and put him on the right path. So I've had to do that a few times. I've had, and this is a concept too, is like future ancestors. I've had future ancestors come back and contact me. Um, I had one future ancestor. I was in a state where I was old as hell, and I mean old. I was 90 to 100 plus, and one of the future ancestors came and he held my hand to show me that if I do get trapped here that long, that the family will still be with me, and so that was powerful because I didn't actually know the child because you get so old and when you start having multiple grandchildren and great grandchildren, it's like some of them you don't even really know. But he knew me and he just reassured me when I get old, I'll be okay. So that's something, it's not just your past ones, it's your future ancestors too. They come off your line. Hey, Mr. T Game, I think I said hello. And so keep that in mind too, because that's possible too. Not just past. A lot of people, like when a lot of people say, they say my past and future ancestors. They give that kind of um, statement. I guess is the word that's coming to mind. So, and when we're always around the full moon, the energies are always a little heightened, and so we just say this is time to get the energies. Like as I was even sun gazing, I could still feel the energies in the moon, during the day. And that's what people forget about this time of year, is that this time of year, we'll get a little bit of both, because the days are so long that you might see the moon a little early. So at one time, you might be able to get a little bit of both of energies. And even again in the mornings, as again in starting May, when I get done with doing this show, I'm gonna try to start staying up until the sun sets at 6 or 6:30, or sun rises, and gaze then, because I'll be gazing out of the east, and I'm going to try to find a good spot. And I think there's a school I can go up to that has a pretty good spot, so I think I'm going to try to start going up there and exploring if I can sit there and get better shots of the moons and the planets, because where I live sucks. Where I live, just the vantage point from where I live is just not a good vantage point. And so, yeah. Not a whole lot going on with me today. I didn't see Slow Joe talk. Someone had put it on their feed, and I noticed it looked like the same mask. So I'm not fooled either way, because having him fall up the stairs is kind of a thing to Gerald Ford to me. Like when I call him falling up the stairs, that seems like that's a thing to Gerald Ford. And we know with Gerald Ford that he pardoned, yeah, he pardoned Nixon. Remember that he pardoned Nixon. And so I think in that kind of gesture, it's like, who is this? Who's really running the country? So it's just funny. I really didn't listen to him. Money didn't do good today though. That is one thing. Everything was down today. Let's see. Here we go. Maybe gold got a late return. It must have. Wow. $7 rise with gold. Wow, then that was a big swing, because it was down $4 when I last saw. Yeah, it was $4 down. So wow, that was a $13 raise. So yeah, went up $7, 17.80 85. Silver went up 4 cents to 20. Yeah, because it was what, 02, 03, something like that. What, so no, silver was 22, 23. No, a little more, 28. So silver is up to 26, 26.33, and gold is 1780. So, and then we have crypto, kind of unchanged, 53. Like shit's jumping all around me. So crypto actually took a $954 loss in the last 12 hours, which is 1.74%. So it didn't really jump a whole percent down. Um, Ethereum, so still at 53 million or billion. No, million, 53 million. Yeah. Yeah. 53,000. And I was just looking at this market cap. I was trying to figure out at the same time, read this market cap. I think they got the market cap at like $1 trillion. That's crazy. Yeah, the market cap is at $1 trillion. So we have Ethereum that was down $14 in 12 hours, which is just 0.54%. And then Dog is 0.31 cents, 32 cents per share. So it's down 3.46%. So that's, if you guys want to, now Litecoin is only fell 59 cents. So it's at 253. So LTC. So those of you that follow, you need to follow your money. If you got 401ks, you need to follow your money. So when you're focused on your spiritual work, do you get confirmation from your distraction to keep going? When you are focused on your spiritual work, do you get confirmation from your distractions to keep going. Confirmation from your distraction. Am I reading that? Distractions to keep going. Well, I'll say this. Uh, okay, there it goes. I've said this before. Music is a good way to judge how long, because each song is basically 3.5 to 4 minutes long or less. So it's a good judge of time. If you really kind of want to keep a time, it was like, I don't know if you guys noticed, like when I was trying to meditate with the One Divineness, my daughter kept calling me, and so I opened one eye and kind of gazed at her. It's just like, "Are you asleep?" And I'm like, "No." And then she's like, "Well, you're not answering." And so I still wanted to keep in the moment. Um, so because okay, maybe this is what you're asking. So what happens is just naturally, like when you get just natural, you get comfortable or relaxed. It's natural to think about the past or think about the future or think about stressful things. It's just a natural thing, because you relax, and then you might think about something that you enjoyed years ago. That's just natural. That's just natural for all of us. Or if you got some goal and you're kind of close to it, just kind of thinking on that. So you do want to clear that out. So if anything comes in, I think you're asking, is anything comes in, something still hanging off this hat. If anything comes in, I think you're asking, how do you keep going? And distractions are heavy. Yeah. And so I guess that's what you're asking for. Because you're saying confirmation from your distractions. Distractions are heavy. But yeah, I think that's what you mean. And so a lot of things will try to, okay, this is what you're asking. So yes, when, especially if you don't live, like I know my brother goes through this because he still has young children, and he'll be trying to do some spiritual work, and he has three little ones. And so it's kind of hard. Even when he does videos, sometimes you can hear the little ones, because that's kind of hard, because it's, again, like, you know like I was saying with my daughter, even though she's 9, I'm sitting here trying to meditate, and she's bothering me because she sees me over here. I guess she's wondering, was I asleep in the chair in front of the computer, which seems kind of silly, but okay. So uh yeah, it can be, it could stop you, because the stopping and starting gets there. But this is the thing to remember: it's not really how long, it's kind of like how deep, or did you get a message, did a color come through, did a vibration come through. Like I've said before, like stones I haven't touched in a long time, like when I meditated with this, when I slept, soon as I closed my eyes, something came in. And that's like new stones will seem to do that for you too. But it's like, and how you can miss it, because you're not really paying attention yet. But I've gotten a habit. But it's like, it's just, if you get that few minutes and you just feel where you're able to push everything out and just have that few minutes of trance, that's okay sometimes too. Don't take it as a frustration. Take it as, especially if you meditate and then go try to do something, or you have a little timetable where you got to do something. Sometime take just a few minutes of tranquility. Don't really stress yourself. Did I do it long enough? That's not really, that doesn't really uh doesn't matter the length. It matters the depth. So but yeah, it could come up. What'd you say? Dog went up from 24 hours ago, 3 cents. Oh, okay, Crazy Sarge. Thank you. So yeah, distractions can come, and again, you can look at, like, are the distractions coming from? Where are they coming from? And so that's a thing, is to interrupt your spirituality, and you can see that pattern as well. You can see a pattern where, like negative energy just doesn't want you to get done, and they'll use vehicles to, they're like, people will call you, somebody, well, people don't just knock randomly on the door, it's hardly anymore, but it's like things would just come up. Like my animals would jump on me. You know, I'm kind of prepared, but sometimes I don't expect it, and I'm really transing deep, and boom, you know, this animal just jumps on me. Normally, though, I kind of see the energy coming at me. So, okay, I hope that answered it. So, just don't look at how long you go. Just look at how deep you into it, and if you time, because that's what I get with me. I'll try to meditate before I have to go somewhere, and if I only just get so much, I'm like, okay, that's all I'm gonna get right now. So but anytime, but that's kind of that's part of my thing too. Like sports is my thing because again with the hero twins, but just spirituality and how to make your spirituality just heavy. And it's like I don't have a bias to any people. Again, I don't want people around me that's just all agreeable. You don't have to agree with me. Like when Divineness came on, she said, I don't do it like he does it. There it is. And that's okay. That adds to me. A lot of people don't look as that adding. To me, that looks as it adding. The linebacker died at 33. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I kind of laughed. It was like I was reading something. I'm on Facebook. I'm part of a thing that shows native athletes and stuff, and they showed this one brother because now they showing these athletes, a lot of brothers popping up, but they showed this brother that scored 42 points, and so I just kind of laughed at myself. I'm like, there we go, there we go. Here he is representing natives, and they throw that 42 bullshit in there. So they just try to. So yeah, they try to throw that shit in there every time. They want the numbers to speak. So and the numbers have a voice, no doubt. Zach has been good in that. They give the numbers a voice. So and it's a good practice to follow it yourself. That's a good practice to follow it yourself. And even like I've said before, jobs, you want a girlfriend. I mean, yeah, the pendulum can give you that too, but like when you do the gematria and the gematrinator or whichever system you use, look at the matches. I like the gematrinator. I mean, I've had issues with it the past few months, but when it'll show the matches pop right up. You can look at all the matches to see. That's the divination part of it too, is the matches. But you can look at all the matches to see, and it might be patterns you see that would affect, if it's a relationship or your job or a decision. You can see relationships of the words and make up your own mind. Yeah, he died. Yeah, he died. Yep, the linebacker died. He was in, but they said he was in hospice. They had put him in hospice apparently from I think liver disease. I think he died from liver disease. So, but all these type of sacrifices. But I don't think he was on the Super Bowl team. Maybe he was because somebody tell me that. Was he on the Super Bowl team? I don't think he was. I don't think he was currently with them. I think he had played with them in the past, but I could be wrong. So if somebody wants to correct me with that, but I don't really know. I don't really know. And that's why I like to, be diverse. And it's like not just I don't want to beat anybody over the head with my thing. Again, it's and again, I don't want to be part of a truth community. I don't want to be part of the conscious community. I want to be around people that research and experience. Research and experience. That's kind of what I want to be. My thing is and not just my thing. I'm just saying, if you dig me, research and experience, because all I should really do is maybe touch on some things that you've been studying, and maybe the things led you to me. Oh, did I say what was welcome, Crazy Sarge? I'm sorry, you gave the information. Welcome, no Crazy Sarge. Welcome. And so that's kind of it creates thinkers. It's like when I read the Toltec stuff all the time, it says, I'm not there to say, vote for me and I'll set you free. I'm not there for that. I am here to just bring up things that you may have touched across, you may have come across. But it's funny, crystals cost more now that they're a little more popular and in use. They cost more. They cost less before. I mean, you take Motivite is really, the prices went crazy. The prices really went crazy now because it's they've cut off the park from just anybody getting permits and mining it. So it's limited now. Your knowledge and teachings are official. Well, thank you, PJ. How's things going with you tonight? Yeah, I hope everything is smooth with everybody. I send that smooth energy out to everybody. That is something that I want everybody to have that. No matter where you at, that you have that. The congressman says some statements about America in the past. Ah, interesting. Interesting. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. I didn't watch that stuff. I really didn't care what he had to say. I didn't think it was going to keep me current on anything. But yeah, you talking about the congressman or the senator? I know they was using the brother, and it's funny they trying to get the brother to get rid of that. What is it called? Where cops can't be sued. That's going to be crucial. Crucial. Why didn't the people riot then? When they said the cops, individual cops can't be sued, why didn't people riot then? That's what I didn't get. I thought that should have brought some riot. You can't sue them. You should be able to sue anybody, but you can do liens. I've seen them brothers put liens on people, and then they try to give them that they're frivolous when they go to court. But I've seen people put liens on them since they want to say you can't sue them, or you can put liens on them. So, uh, Senator, sorry, Senator, sorry. Yeah, remember when Trump got in, they was there, cheesing, and it's only not too many melanated senators up in there, even in the history. I mean, you had that little thing right after the Civil War, but once they put in Reconstruction, that's when the real slavery started. Things were never worse than Reconstruction. They want you to think slavery was bad. Reconstruction was worse. It was worse. Yeah, it was way worse. And that's not that long ago if you really look at it. The 1870s, 1880s, 1890s. It's not that long ago. Man, I look at as my what is it? My great great grandfather fought in the Civil War. And I'm born in the 60s. I knew people that was born in the 1800s. Both of my great grandparents were born in the 1800s, and I knew them both. Used to spend the night at their house. And relatives. My grandmother's sister that lived to be 99. My great grandmother's sister, my great aunt. She was born in 18 something. So I knew people that was born 18 something. So some of these events ain't that long ago. It's just my point. You know, it's not that long ago. And it's just interesting. We seeing they want to change the rules because it seems like they going making these rules as they go along. But I would say, like in this state, people ain't changed. There has never been a time in this state where we wore a mask outside. Remember when it was the protest, they was showing fuck the mask. Remember the protest last year? The protest was like fuck the mask. So and the news people that was making so much money on showing news of the riots, they was doing the same thing. They was like, fuck the mask for right now. Nobody's caring about the mask. So, but I noticed, like I talked about, my family in Michigan sent me some pictures outdoors. I don't know if it was a funeral. They was kind of dressed. They was all dressed. So it was either a wedding or a funeral. I'm thinking funeral though, just the energy in the picture. But they all wearing masks outside. And I thought, and this is a few months ago, and they're all in Michigan. And I thought, wow, they got y'all that scared that y'all really think that it's just gonna bloop 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 and hit you outside with the wind blowing. You can turn your back. You know how you can walk, with your back to the wind? What happened then? It's just going to hit you in your neck and stuff. You walk everywhere backwards, have your jacket hiked up. But I don't need it. I'm walking backwards. I guess I got a little bit of tan too. Not much, but a little bit. I get golden. I get golden. The CV members have Rose in India. What's up with that? It's an attack. It's an attack or propaganda. I was seeing a chick on my Facebook that was throwing a lot of fear out there, and I like what they call it, fear porn. It's called fear porn, and I see that. And I was seeing a chick that says she's living in India. She was just all about the fear porn. So that's a lot of it too. Remember that part. It's a lot of fear porn. Remember, we saw the same thing in China at first. Remember, you saw the Chinese licking stuff, like they really just trying to spread it. Remember that stupid shit? All propaganda, all scripted. Remember, people tried to do it here and they locked their asses up. It's like, yeah, they stopped that type of propaganda, which was a surprise for them. But that's a lot of what we're seeing again. Propaganda. Again, keeping that fear out there. And it's an attack. It's definitely an attack. Anytime you hear this kind of thing, it's an attack on that kind of thing. It's an attack on those people. Or the propaganda is a propaganda. It's a full, because remember, when you attack people, if people listening to the radios and shit, you also do propaganda through communications. So it's not just a physical attack. A lot of times it's the, in World War II, what was her name? Tokyo Rose. Remember, if you wanted to listen to music, and you was fighting in the Pacific, but you had a break, you could turn on some music because Tokyo Rose played American music all the time, that Tommy Dorsey shit, that big band swing shit. And when it was a break, she would talk about, hey, what is y'all? Why are y'all over here? Don't you wish you was back in Alabama? Just fucking with them, because they tried to get her for war crimes, and I don't think they did, but they tried to. But so propaganda comes through communication as well. So remember that. And especially here, they passed laws. There used to be laws against it. It was illegal. Obama, Uncle Barry. Barry is the one that said it's okay to give people propaganda. That come from the Nazis. That's some Nazi shit. But Barry put that into law. China is fine now. Yeah, oh yeah, this whole thing has been a money grab. I mean, you had to see that. All this money they've been printing and giving everyone money. As I said before, they gave equivalent to 58 million per Israeli. And they given measly 1,000 here, hundreds there. But they gave what's equivalent to 58 million per person in Israel. And they arguing about what they give you. Doesn't seem right, does it? Doesn't seem fair. And that doesn't make me pro-Jewish faith country people. Because I'm not against any one person. I'm against the wicked. I'm truly against the wicked. There's a lot of wicked shit we see. And as I get older, the wicked shit is accepted more and more under a guise. But wicked is fucking wicked. Now, at least under Uncle Imbecile, you saw one part of wicked shit that was cut off. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. Now it's streaming all around the world. They're just throwing it free. You ordered, okay, here goes your order. Come get them. And that's just wickedness in front of our eyes. Because money can make this thing move. Money can make this thing move. You can order one of them motherfuckers. So you see, there's thousands and thousands of orders. It's like a vampire. Vampire can't go around the neighborhood biting motherfuckers. After so long, it's going to point to you. So a vampire can't just pray. What do they say? You can't shit and eat in the same place. So vampire can't, he can't do that. Bela Lugosi could take, go out in the countryside, knock a couple down, and then they'd come back and be zombies. But can't do that too much. Be wondering why all the chicks is coming to you with these bites on their neck in the zombie state. It would catch up with you. So when you pick where it ain't really no records, ain't nobody really keeping track like that. See how easy? Hey, YT, people talking to Shad RBNs, mocking conspiracy theorists, making petty jokes behind wicked. They are completely insane. They're definitely insane. They are. Hey, Jeffrey, thank you for all the information. Thank you for joining me. Yep, they are completely insane. I would agree. I'd agree. They are insane. And the insanity is so bad that they really think they're safer. And then the propaganda is, well, if you've taken part, you can just rip it off and outside. Well, we've been ripping it off outside. That's the point. We here, it was never a thing here. Never, never. This whole time, it was never a thing. Even last spring, when it was at its height, no one down here wore that shit outside. Girl I was dating, we was walking around the park and shit. We wasn't even staying away from motherfuckers. So that shit was never a thing. But states like Michigan, where they got the, the hammer to their necks, they got these people convinced. And now they really telling you safe from something. And then the money grab this is the money grab that you got to do it every year. Like you a child. Well, you need to come in because you know what? This is what they did. Motherfuckers don't want them flu shots. Motherfuckers do not want to take flu shots. They done made a lot of them flu shots. It's just sitting there. How we know they didn't just add that? How do we know they just didn't? Because people wasn't doing flu shots. And flu shots, I said this before, got so lax where one of the greeters was giving the flu shots in Walmart. Now, maybe, I don't know her full, I don't know. She might have been a nurse, but damn if I didn't see her being a greeter. And then there she is with the gloves talking about she want, and it was free. The flu shot was free. So who paid for it? Walmart paid for it, and they offering flu shots like that? I didn't know they was that generous. I didn't know Walmart was generous like that. Shit, you go to the doctor and get a damn shot. That shit is expensive in the motherfucker. Or you be in the hospital and they give you some, what is it, diluted? See if that shit ain't costing you damn near $500 for some diluted if you in pain. Every time you tell them you still hurt and they give you a shot of that shit. See the bill for some shit like that. And I know you're saying, well, narcotic compared to, but I'm saying the medicine ain't free. All of a sudden it's free. Tell them about my information I sent you. This is the thing, Jeffrey. You need to tell that information. So if you want to come on and you want to tell that information because you found it. All right. And that sounds like an order. And I don't take orders, baby. But that's what I'll do. I want you to come on. You put it on your phone in order and you come tell it. That would be better. That would be better. And we've talked before. You sound good on, you're able to articulate. These people think they're better than those who don't. Read it is so freaking bad and full of those goons. Yeah, we've been seeing it. Yeah. Blinded by the tyranny, and the tyranny is massive. It is, Reeves. It is. That's the thing. If you have to take those, I have to take one after the other. I'm still contemplating. And it's the one thing you can do, and it's the others, but it's like if your work requires it. Another way you can look at it too. Another way, and this is the thing. Can you please tell them something? My fault, the way I said it, I apologize. I can call right now or tomorrow. Do tomorrow. Yeah, do tomorrow. And all that stuff. Yeah, do tomorrow. Give you a little time to prepare, won't put you on the spot. Tomorrow you prepare and all that stuff you sent me, you can go over it. How's that? Cool? How's that? Because I don't want to put you on the spot. So you have a little more time to prepare and say what you want to come in first. But he sends me some interesting things too. But I would rather you bring it out than me. That's all. I think it would sound better coming from you because that's your research and you caught it. I mean, you are a news hawk. I'll say that. Ah. Cats like to lick up beer. They'll get a kick out of that. On the other hand, wasted beer. I get 0 points for wasted beer. It'll be all right. Not great for the oak, but it'll be all right. I've got an old oak table, dining room oak table. Yeah, it'd be better tomorrow. I still don't want to put you on the spot tonight. Okay, yeah, he'll come through tomorrow, and then I got a Awakened One. She's coming on Friday. I have someone else coming on, I think Saturday, so I might be on a little earlier Saturday. Awakened One's coming on Friday. Will probably be. She's on Eastern time, so Friday we might have to start 10 my time, 11 Eastern, because she doesn't hang out like I hang out. So I accommodate her. So I think Friday we're coming on a little earlier because she's on Eastern time, and I know it's later. Well, thank you, Anise. Purchased in the U.S. Crypto banned from being Ripple. Crypto banned from being XRP Ripple crypto banned from being purchased in the U.S. Really? Yeah. And they took away yeah, shit. I didn't even notice that. Sure is. It's not even in the feed anymore. Wow. But they took away it was another Litecoin. It was another one that it was a lot cheaper to buy into. They took that one down too. But Litecoin, it was similar to that. I can't remember the name of that one, but that one was where you could put $25 into it, and they took that one down too. That ain't on here. But Litcoin took the name of it because the other one was like that, Litecoin or something like that too, and they removed that one, and that was a safer one, just because the investment was less. But wow, I'm not surprised. Purchase, wow, okay. They accumulate through the news, and I truly hate watching the news. Truly hate it. Okay, tomorrow's cool. All right, good. Give you some time to prepare, and you can put it all together how you want to present it. I think that was. Oh, I got these stupid ass napkins. No, that's probably loud. My daughter gave me these goofy napkins. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these? They've been here. I think she gave these me for Christmas. I don't think she gave these to me from Valentine's Day. I think she gave these to me for Christmas. And then like Valentine's Day, they can't even give out Valentines. Anybody else experience that? They can't even give out damn Valentines anymore. You have to only get candy. You can't give out Valentines. Because something of, certain children would get more. It was favoritism. Make somebody's, like the Charlie Brown only got a rock. Charlie Brown was a little bit more popular during the crack era. When Charlie Brown said, I only got a rock. Charlie Brown was live back in the 60s. People felt bad for Charlie Brown for getting rocks, but Charlie Brown was live. You didn't know what he was. People knew Charlie was the addict, so they was hitting him up with the rocks. Like, what did you get, Charlie? I got another rock. And Charlie was behind his mask, cheesing like, I'm gonna get it on tonight. See context. Is Peercoin still around? I don't think so. Well, at least on my buying chart, it is not. And this is who's it over? Bit info chart. And I don't see that one on here. Yeah. Like I'm saying, the Litecoin, they took over another exchange to use. It was light, but it was something else, and I can't remember. But it was light, but it wasn't Litecoin, but it was called Light, and they took that one down. And that one was like the prices, like Chainlink is $35 a share, but you can get a Tron for almost 13. So some of them are still affordable. Chills is up to almost 60 cents. But then you got Bitcoin Cash is up $800. So, and now they have the kiosks, like that's what I saw at my grocery store. They have a kiosk where you can, get to put the cards in, or you can get the cards loaded out. You started to see those. The mall had one too. The mall just got it recently. Because I was trying to figure out. I was like watching one dude. I was like, he was just feeding this machine with bills. We was throwing hundreds in there, and I'm like, huh. And I saw another person getting money out. So I thought that was interesting. Hey Jay, thank you for joining. Can only buy Ripple, PayPal, peer-to-peer sale is US, but Bit is a transaction. Bitcoin Satoshi is the original Bitcoin. Oh yeah, right. Yep. That's why if you got Cash App, it's a way to buy the stuff too. I mean, you're gonna end up wanting to put it in a safer place, but it's a way to, like, you got a little money to hustle into it to get you a start. Just to get some invest. But anything you invest in, you have to pay attention to this stuff. You can't just let this go by and you do a 401k and you ain't paying attention, because so often you can get into them and change them. Remember that you can change them. So if you're getting hammered in one of them, you like, hey, if you fall, it'll be like, move the money around. That's what it really is telling you to do, is move the money around. So I know I didn't check, but I know I took a hit from Ford day before. Didn't check today. I know I took a hit because Ford was up to 16. It was down to 11 and 12. So took a little hit. I got 1,000 Dodge at 58 cents, and now it's 32 or so. Right. Oh, good investment. Good investment, Crazy Sarge. Big baller there. Big baller. Good job though. But that's the thing is put the money into it, watch how it does, and if you need to move it around, move it around. That's my point. But it's to me, it makes more sense. Like, people gamble. And I mean, I live here by the reservation, and I mean, people gamble. But to me, this is better than gambling. You ain't just throwing this money away. It's better than gambling, to me. And it's a type of gambling, but it's a type of gambling where you can go into it with a little more intelligence compared to just, hoping these electronics will be. I mean, that's the thing I don't understand. This casino near me is all electronics. Electronics crap is, you got to be some kind of idiot to pay for electronics craps. You really got to be an idiot. Same with roulette. Roulette and craps are feeling games. And I told the story before. I watched a dude throw 11 straight passes. 11 straight passes. And you know what they do to you when you win like that? They switching the dice almost every second, third. You know how many times you shoot? When you shooting, you know how many times you shoot? They are switching the people around, switching the dice, measuring the dice, making sure that they just do all kind of things to try to break your luck streak. Putting a little caliper on it, making sure they're in spec. I mean, they do all of these little tricks to try to break your luck. And this was the kind of table where, not that you threw it over the hump, you had to throw them and bank them. So you had to throw them, hit the wall, and then they roll back forward. And this old dude stung him, and he cussing them out. He's like, bring me in, because, they give you free drinks and shit too. At least back then in the 80s, they would give you free drinks. You didn't have to pay for your drinks in some of the casinos. They bringing you drinks, and get the money we made that night. They just bringing you drinks. And this dude was like, I don't care what you do. I don't care how many of these motherfuckers. I don't care how many dice, whatever pair of dice he told him, this old motherfucker said, you can even bring me some of them 7-11 dices and I'm going to win on that shit. That's what he told him. He said, you can bring me the snake eye dices and I'm still going to win. I don't care what y'all bring. I'm going to win. And 11 straight. He whooping their ass. They use 4 decks in one card game in Vegas. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Xpeng is at $30 right now. Wow. Xpeng EV Automotive in China going to make self-drive chips in-house. Biggest competitor to Tesla. Interesting. But yeah, here they use the big decks too. That's pretty standard. But and then roulette on a computer. Roulette's another one that you can just, it's a feeling thing, and it's one of the few games that'll give you that because it's like the wheel is pushing energy around, And so the energy, again, we saying that the wheel ain't fixed. But dice more than anything is a feeling game. I mean, and I say roulette too because I've seen people get on hot streaks on them too. But dice more than anything is a really that if you ever want to look at a pure luck, you can see a person get on pure luck. I felt bad for this one dude. This one dude stung everybody at the gambling house, and then they jacked him on the way to the car, but he didn't know, and that was kind of the thing it was. But then it hurt the gambling house, and then the gambling house had to provide security because you didn't want him to get jacked. But on the other hand, the gambling house dude got both. He got hit with 2 AKs, him and his buddy, and it killed the main cat. Yeah. So, but I've watched dudes in the gambling house. Again, my dad was a gambler, so I grew up watching dudes, watching their techniques, and I just was intrigued with craps. I really didn't like cards. I still today, I'm not much of a card player. I get to smoking bud and drinking. I don't pay attention. Even spades, I won't. I think one time I lost the spade game and I had a handful of trumps. Nothing else. And I lost because I wasn't paying attention, probably showing my hand. And I ended up losing, getting set. Where I should have just ran the board. But again, I don't pay attention to that shit. So never would be a good gambler like that. Because I just don't pay attention. But I mean, I can play spades, but it's not, I've always looked at it as a prison type of game. Mugs be locked up. They play dominoes and spades. So I remember in college, everybody played backgammon, acey-deucey, which is the more competitive type of backgammon. And we used to bet on that shit. We used to bet on playing acey-deucey. And that's a nice strategy game. And that's something I noticed that I loved about being at A&T, that everybody's mind was into playing. I mean, everybody played. All my teammates, we took them when we traveled, but every night sitting around when we was just drinking and smoking, we was also playing this game that really made your mind work. And I liked that. That was one thing I can remember walking down the hall and just every room somebody was playing. And I thought, wow, this is a good, because it's good for your mind. You're going through the paper chasing, of getting a degree. And then here are all these people still being thinkers. Even in their part-time, their spare time, their leisure time, they are still being thinkers and not just the book think from school. They're doing something outside of that. So I like that. I appreciated that at school. Now I haven't played since then, and I had boards since then, but none of the children really picked it up and just got out of habit. I was trying to even remember how to play acey-deucey. I could remember how to play backgammon, but backgammon is a little slower game, less luck too. Because remember, to play acey-deucey, you got to throw doubles to get off and start playing. So something like you have really bad luck and somebody comes over on your side, they can block you from coming in, so it's that kind of thing. You really, having bad luck. So I appreciated that. I did appreciate that in college. And I was talking to my mother earlier, and it's like, this is the funny thing. It's like really a thing where they want the melanated people of America, and it just, it's happening to all of us. And then it's like they want, and a lot of the police, or at least a lot of the actors, are going in with it. The one sister, the conservative sister, she's like, people don't even want to be that anymore. There's still academies around where people join, new people all the time. Right now, they're trying to see if there's budgets for new people. People ain't quitting their jobs like that. But I still say that ain't the war. They ain't the real enemy. It's the people behind them. And what we seeing in these instances is actors. But I'll say this. This shit still didn't make sense. So they showed the Capitol dude get the tear gas. He dies the next day of a stroke, 2 strokes. And they want you to believe that because he got pepper sprayed, it caused him to stroke. And then they had one woman say, well, it was the stress and strain that got him too. Wait a minute. Didn't know, because at first they lied and said he got hit over the head with a fire extinguisher. That's how they lied at first. On the news, they said he got hit over the head by somebody with a fire extinguisher. Then comes his real death report that the dude had strokes at home the next day. So he was just pepper sprayed so bad, went home, and He had post-traumatic stress syndrome for that little bullshit there. Now, if I was a cop, I wouldn't have been tripping like that. Went home and like, damn, that just was, we got overwhelmed today. Wow, it just was shit. Did you see all those protesters? The guy with the horns and, pepper sprayed and shit. I had to back up, I had to put the shit in my eyes. And I was like, damn, just couldn't let it go. I would have went home, smoked a fat one, and drank a beer and watched the shit happen on the news too. Be like, damn, I kicked a little bit of ass today. I had to blast a couple mugs. Do you see how they still want to twist it? They still want to lie to you and still want to twist it. So you have a federal funeral. You have a federal funeral for a cat that died at home. How many cops in D.C. get a federal funeral for dying at home? He had strokes and died at home, and he got a national federal funeral like he was a dignitary. So I say this, you got to do everybody like that. If you a DC cop, that's what you should expect. You die and you was that type of cop, you should have a federal funeral. Or if you go home and have a heart attack, you should have a federal funeral. That seems to be what they're going to do. See how to lie? They tried to shame people. Then Brent blamed that on Uncle Imbecile. He ain't had nothing to do with it. People in power now, they was behind that. Wasn't the people going out of power. It was the people coming into power that was behind that. And they ain't stopped yet. I saw that a dude is supposed to be running against Big Gritch. Guess he thinks he's going to do better in Michigan. Remember last time Michigan had a Republican governor, he turned the water off on Flint. Remember that? He put all these city managers over these cities and federally ran these cities, basically, and federally turned off that water and sold the system to a private group, and then didn't cure the pipes, didn't put the chemicals in the pipes that would cure the pipes. So I don't know if Michigan wants another Republican. But Big Gretch killed most small businesses, got them wearing masks outside. I don't know what's the difference. So think of it like this. You had to snow shovel some snow and say you just, even if you had the snow blower or even the little tractor, you got to wear the mask in the wintertime? Motherfuckers in Michigan, I think, did that shit. Now, I don't know. I ain't been in Michigan. I ain't lived in Michigan about 15 years. But that is what it appears. You know how stupid that looks? You making your children go outside and play and they got to wear that shit? Then today they come in and say, well, children need to play outside more. Duh. My daughter started school, they was going outside most of the time to get away from the indoor mask thing. Even in the wintertime, they were still kind of doing that. I mean, they had a break and missed a couple weeks. And so that kind of broke some of that up when the weather got really cold. But they was doing still classes outside. Take that shit off. Because common sense, these adults that run this stuff use common sense. And see, when fear overtakes people, the common sense goes away. They have the people in Michigan so fearful that their common sense goes away. Like my brother shows, he says when he does videos, he's like, he wasn't wearing that shit when he was doing his walking. He walked 3, 4, 5 miles every day. He said he wasn't wearing that shit. Now stores, that's their business. They can tell you, motherfuckers tell you damn near you got to wear jockey shorts in the store and you want to do business and that's their policy. Remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High? No shirt, no shoes, no service. Same thing. They're telling you, if you're not wearing shoes like a hippie, you can't come up in this motherfucker. If you don't have a shirt on, you can't come up in this motherfucker. That's their right. It's their business. He got it because they said he died in the line of duty when they had funeral. Okay. when they had the funeral. He died in the line of duty. He really didn't know. He died the next day. Die in the line of duty means you died there. He died of a stroke. He died of a stroke at home. He didn't die in the line of duty. That's what they said, though. They said he died in the line of duty, but he actually died of a stroke at home. These people are going out for a jog with a mask. It doesn't make sense. No, YT, it does not make sense. But yeah, Crazy Sarge, he died at home. So a coroner tried to say he died from, or somebody else, a psychologist said he died from the stress from the day. That's bullshit. That there is bullshit. So, but I say do that to all the people that die in the line of service. You know, for DC, if anybody else dies like that, make sure they get as much. Make sure they get as much. It's type of propaganda, though, to me. Seeing people with masks outside or in the car by themselves is proof of common sense. Oh, that's the stupidest shit in the world. And you seeing it. You see the motherfucker windows up, you know, they the Lone Ranger driving around. And it's like, look at these motherfuckers. But like here, most people don't even, like if I wear my plastic mask, then I walk up to the store with it on because it's the kind of thing where I got to put it on in the car. So if I go to the malls and I'm going to be in the store for a while, now I got the Lone Ranger shit too. I just pull the motherfucker up, just go in there. And my son said, well, those are the racist kind, Dad. I'm like, racist what? They're easy. I can wear the shit around my neck and just throw the shit up. But yeah, people here when they leave their cars, they got that shit in their hands. There's very few people. Most people put it on at the last minute, or they'll put it on in the doorway right before they go in. There's very few people that walk up and got that motherfucker. They usually got them in their hands, or if motherfucker wearing the shit around his neck and they pop it up. So, but that tells you the stupidity. I wear this plastic mask and it's a face covering. That's the stupidity of it. It's the face covering. And I've had one dude, he's like, oh, you don't have a mask on. I'm like, taking another step forward and see what happened to you. That's what I told him. It's like, well, you don't have a mask on. That's how they're doing around here. I said, take another step towards me and see what happened to you. And he just kind of backed up and walked by. Get the fuck out my face. But that's one person. And it was passive aggressive, motherfucker. You know, he's trying to be passive aggressive. Like, motherfucker, I'm really going to wait and just like, well, damn, you didn't like my mask? I'm supposed to just pause and turn around and go outside? Like, fuck you and your mama too. Oh, let me, many tyrants. Agreed. Yes. Yes, Valerie. Yes, Valerie. Many tyrants. Yes. I see people with two masks on and a face shield. Yeah, that looks stupider than stupid. It's like those are the totally, in some ways, brain dead. It's like they got you so scared. So scared. Yeah, I might bring this up if I didn't. I think I brought that up. But they have you so scared that you think that, you know, you need all that. You got a little elf that played in Lord of the Rings. He played in all of them. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Remember, he was the same little dude. Remember the little dude was in Harry Potter? He's a little dude. And then he was in Lord of the Rings with the Precious. This little dude is getting a lot of work. Then he popped up in front of everybody and he told the AIDS lie. This is the same dude that told the AIDS lie, the SARS lie, the swine flu. They you know it's bullshit when they bring him out. So we should be at 13 platoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tunes, and I think we're on 11 kin. Yeah, 11 kin. There we go. 11 is, maybe this makes more sense. Chin, and energy is out of the west. And Chin is monkey, artist, trickster, principle of intelligence, co-creation of the higher life or higher self. And I said before, this is the only card that they technically show the day god and the night god. In this image on the card, we see the monkey and the skeleton showing a connection between two extremes of life: the dynamism of the monkey and the immobility of death. The monkey holds a knife and the death holds a heart. The fact that they share the same heart is showing that both are different sides of the same living being. Although the image of the knife and the heart may call to mind human sacrifices, it's important to note that image comes from pre-Aztec. So the historic Toltec did not practice human sacrifice as the Aztecs, as they say the Aztecs. In abstract thinking, the Toltec understood of importance of being aware of our mortality in order to give the life full value. In their symbolic language, the knife represents enhanced intention, also called second attention. The skeletal skull means transcendence, and the heart represents life. Thus, the image represents the achievement of transcendence, and the life comes as a result of managing attention under the awareness of our own mobility. This transcendence and special managing of awareness is what we call wisdom in the context of this card. Getting this cards means that you have or you need to develop passion for learning and understanding, vocation for traveling deeply into the realm of knowledge, and skills to teach each other. It is important here to consider the Toltec concept of teaching, which requires an understanding of the concept of learning. In their perspective, the learning process did not consist of a teacher having the knowledge and then giving the knowledge to the student. On the contrary, it was the student who would get the knowledge by him or herself. The word for learning process was noma shock, which translates teaching yourself. In that light, the role of the teacher was not to represent him or herself as a source of knowledge, but to support the students in the processes so they can teach themselves. The bottom line for the Toltec sage was that there is no other teacher than the Great Spirit, and the human teachers are just the supporters of the great teacher. They help their apprentices teach themselves by connecting directly with the Great Spirit without intermediaries. This is a sharp contrast with modern attitudes of teaching or spiritual leaders who put themselves at a higher place to be admired by their followers and who often would make profits from their students' devotion. Because of this commitment to connect with the Great Spirit without distracting intermediaries, there's not much room for worshiping people in the Toltec tradition. When the teacher forgets his or her connection with the sacred source of all knowledge, the soul dies, and the result of a living fraud who needs to be worshipped, needs other to worships to believe in his or her lie. Do I have a natural attraction for research? Have I created the space and opportunities for my life for researching topics of interest? What would I like to investigate? What would the research work help me to develop my capacity for deeper thinking? Am I using research and analysis skills to serve others? So, who in my life is going through emotional trouble and may need my support? Am I willing to listen without judging or condemning that person? Do I take time to notice and understand the feeling of others? What happens to my own soul when I'm able to listen and support others, which is called STS, service to others, STO, service to others? Where and how could I acquire knowledge and how to listen and support their emotional feelings? And I guess the third phase would be have you been serious in your spiritual life? Have you ever been able to bring balance in your life and have overcome the most challenging aspects of your shadow? Have you cultivated the habit of consulting everything with your own heart? Have you managed to create a place, a time, and a procedure to connect with the Great Spirit from time to time? So, if that works for you, and again, energy is coming out of the west. So to manifest, manifest, the energy's coming out the west. Oh, you should call them Tommy or Tommy Troll. Hey, Soap, what's happening? What is happening, Soap? Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So just sending that energy out to everyone, hoping that you can use it, hoping it gives you a little wind. That's all. These are just the old man's observations. I'm not really into doom and gloom because the saying is it's good just because it's life. I mean, they're making life miserable in a lot of ways. And it's never been a time where they've created new niggas. Because that's what the people that don't take the plunge is the new niggas now. And that's how they're talking about it. They're trying to single you out. They're trying to create a new nigga, right? That's what it is. They create a new nigga, and the new nigga is the people that don't take the plunge. So you're the niggas now. Well, if it wasn't for those people that wouldn't take the plunge, we wouldn't be this. We almost had got rid of it, but there's 300 million people, and we only got 100 million people to take it, and so we need everyone to take it. That's the rhetoric that's coming around. I remember my stepmother. My stepmother attributed not wanting to take it to the Trumpsters. I thought that was so funny, to Uncle Imbecile. It's like, well, the Uncle Imbeciles, they're not believing in this thing. People with common sense don't believe in it. That's the thing. And I can tell from personal experience, you can take the plunge and you can still get sick. So YouTube person, I know it's a YouTube person, and so are the numbers. Yeah, you can take the plunge. I personally know people in the last 2-3 weeks have taken the plunge and still got sick. Which makes me think in one case, I'm going to say this. In one case, one person was around an elder and he had the plunge. He was around an elder. A young person was around an elder. The young person had the plunge, and I'm pretty sure the way the elder got it was through this person that had the plunge. So it makes you think you get the plunge, you're a carrier. I mean, what do they tell you about disease? Chickenpox disease gives you the chickenpox. And then supposedly you got the shit and you get immune because they gave it to you. So doesn't it work for that? Now they got a propaganda going around Facebook showing that because of the SARS and all these things I mean, this is how people push propaganda. They show a chart that the SARS was 2002, and they've really been working on this thing since then. How don't you see that that's propaganda? When I looked at it, I'm like, how? Like I don't even try to conversate with people because they don't understand. It's like, how asleep can you be? And it's like you can't wake them up. And so the zombies is already created. These ain't zombies that want to eat brains. These is walking around, living life, working with you, selling you shit in stores. Zombies. This is how bad it is. This is how blind they are to the reality. So if you watching me, you's a hell of a special motherfucker. You are special to even listen to me. Because there's people out there that just don't get it. They believe in this shit. They believe everything they see on TV. Isn't that obvious? What did I say? Newspapers was written for 5th grade reading level. Newspapers and magazines for people in a 5th grade reading level. You don't think TV is presented like that? TV is presented like in a 5th grade reading level, unless you watch some of the shows, the business shows. But most shows, it's about a 5th grader intellect, is my point. Most TV is like a 5th grader intellect. This is how they communicate with you. I mean, how could the Catch Me Outside girl get popular? Gangnam Style, of a Korean that talks about blowing up Americans and shit. But he had one little catchy bullshit song. But his other songs, he talked about blowing up Americans. Do you see how dumbed down people are? That's why time is not going up. We are on the end of the stick. Like I was saying with the Wright brother plane, $1 million couldn't make the motherfucker fly. That shit that they did in them caves in Yucatan, motherfuckers couldn't do that shit today. They couldn't bring water to the ocean, to the middle of the goddamn Central America. They just couldn't do it. With all the modern equipment, they couldn't do. You know, when they showed a Kappa Pichu and shit, and they was like, we have to have lasers to cut this. We have to depend on the me or the my. The my is the only thing that can cut this. We have to have a machine to lift these heavy rocks. And you had people testifying that the man at St. Petersburg, Florida, was moving these big ass rocks with some little rods. So he was moving these 1,000-pound boulders and putting them into place. He tapped into some shit that's there. But see, that's the weakness of the mind. The mind has no magic. The mind has no magic. The mind had to be brought here. It didn't just come here. Somebody brought it. You know, the story of if you get into Wes Panera's work about an asteroid, might have brought that shit here. Could have very, very well been. An asteroid brought that shit here. It got destroyed, but we've beat it before. We've beat the machine before. Because this is the second time it came back. The timeline we on, it got beat before and was locked up. So all these people loving Anunnaki, you might want to thank them because this is attributed with them. Keep that in mind. The tech God. And don't think the Maya doesn't think it's a God. It thinks it's the only God. I mean, think about it. Never leave home without it. We have the mind with us more than anything. If there's one thing we all carry, is all of us carry these motherfuckers. And this is how bad they fucked us up. They thought murders and cop brutality was going to stop because of these. You don't think they anticipated that? You don't think they knew that was going to happen? You don't think now they laugh at that kind of shit? Now we'll see how dude get sentenced. And you know, I was thinking they never did the action cam of the brother from the Somalian that shot in front of his partner's face. They never showed the cam to that. I never saw that. They had to have him, I think, back then. I never saw a body cam from him shooting a gun in front of his partner's face, which wouldn't happen in any kind of scenario. You know, you would only do that when you taking a couple rounds in. If you taking a couple rounds in, like you hear some shit hitting the engine, then yeah, you would shoot across your partner's face. But other than that, there's no scenario. Just a loud noise gonna make you just somebody in the dark come up. They hit the back of your car. That was the lie they tried to tell. Well, it hit the back of the car, so we had to, fire up. A lot of these shows, a lot of these scenarios don't seem real. It just doesn't seem real. Even this one, it just doesn't seem real. Even there's parts of Floyd shit that just doesn't seem real. You can look at parts of it, it just doesn't make sense. These cats work together. I don't care. You got to come inside eventually and piss. You work door security. Eventually, you're going to go inside and piss. You're going to go inside and get some drinks. Or you're going to have a break. Ain't like when you walk security at a club, you just at the door, you never get to move. And you never saw this goofy motherfucker up in there? Come on. That ain't believable. So when you can link them together like that, they had to have known each other. It makes you wonder, was it all an act? Because you've got these people or actors that know each other already. And they show when he got stopped from 19, it's 6 or 7 of them. Why? Why is there so many to stop to walk up on him when he got stopped in 19? So a lot of it makes you wonder. Say you have around a lot of them, I bet. Still want real zombies. I'm special with my fuck list. Fuck shit. I'm telling you, they zombies in the way they are now. And taking this is going to make them more zombies. It's going to make them more unaware. They already talked about remote birth control, where it's your time and they ain't you ain't you just boom from there. You don't think they're gonna do that to people? You don't think this is in it? So I don't know. I don't know. And I'll say this too. There's people strong enough that could take the plunge and it ain't gonna do nothing to them. It goes back to the old dude that was 112 years old smoking cigars. He smoked 3 to 5 cigars a day and he lived to be 112 years old because there was no fear. And could you take the plunge and not have any fear? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. So keep that in mind. Dang, man, I'm kind of looking at myself. I might have to put all the multiple screens back up here. These 4 screens ain't enough. Ain't enough of me. Just me, me, me. The movies like more me, me. Smith, when Smith started, just me everywhere, which is really showing you the my. That's what the multiple Smiths was, and Neo, both of them. Ah, my son took the Lost Book of Iniki, and I was like, that's what you got to pay attention to. The my is that's the thing that's controlling all this, and all these people work for it, and they know what it is. But that's why. What was Jeffrey would know this? What was it when um which one was the Marvel one where the dude got rid of all the bombs? Remember that the old god came back and got rid of all the bombs. What's your excuse now, world? You can't destroy each other like this anymore. And I still believe the apocalypse is melanated. The melanated coming back. It ain't nothing for them. It ain't nothing for them. And I don't mean, I'm saying for the wicked that run the thing, that the apocalypse would come, the 4 horsemen would come from the different directions, would be to come to get their ass. The ones that's running the world, the ones that the help with destroying this machine. When all that gets released, they don't want that. That is why they tried to bind that stuff up. So when it comes, it's gonna come to get their ass and beat that machine because we are going to get the help. So don't think you're shit's making all kind of noise. I did have crab cakes, but don't think that help couldn't be on the way because it appears spiritually the help is on the way. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, it's some sad shit. It really is. And it's like you feel sorry for them. You really do. It's like, wow, you feel sorry for these people. It's like my 2 sons that have had it. I just feel so bad. And it made me think of like if you watch the things on how they suspect Jimi Hendrix was murdered and the reaction of his brother who they cut out all the money, how he really felt something when his brother died. And this chick that's getting all the money that ain't related because her daddy worked the dude and put her daughter in a position to steal all the money and the name. I ain't one time heard her saying that she felt sorry the way her brother got killed. Never heard her come out and say that. Yet she controls the empire and the name because she took advantage of an elderly man that her mother helped her do. She met Jimmy once or twice. Yet she owns it. She legally changed her name because it wasn't her daddy. Her mama married a dude she was already born. But not one time if I heard this woman feel sad about what happened to that man. Do you think about them trying to put Jimmy's death on Devon Franklin? Um, because Devon was thrown out of a window. Remember that? She was thrown out of a window. But it was 2 of them. It was Devon and the first chick he dated. They kind of show her where they was living in an apartment in New York. Um, I don't see how, because if you looked at Monica Damerman, I think is her name, we know for a fact she wasn't there. We know that there was his lungs was filled up with wine. Now there's two reports. One report is that he was had throw up all on him, but the paramedics said he didn't have any clothes. One report said he didn't have clothes on. One report said he did. So I don't know, but Devon was thrown out of a window and killed herself. She was killed herself, so it could be. Yep. Yeah, they said she committed suicide. Yeah, but she fell out of a window from very high up. So I don't know that would be. He made Dolly Dagger was because of her. Mick Jagger had cut his finger, and when somebody got a band-aid, she went up and sucked the blood out because she was kind of starstruck a little bit, and so he wrote that. She'll suck the blood off a dagger, Dolly Dagger. That was about her. So I don't know if they could. I would say Monica did too, though. Monica Damerman, she committed suicide as well. I think she had a bigger hand in it. And they try to. There's no. It was almost like he was waterboarded to death. That's what it appeared like. He was waterboarded, and they used wine. But he was the biggest star in the world at the time. That doesn't get brought up. The Beatles. It was the end of the Beatles. It was kind of a little bit the end of the Rolling Stones. He was the biggest star musician in the world and had no security. He had the worst contract ever. Out of all the contracts that came out of the 60s and 70s, he had the worst one. He was getting zero money. The only money he was really given, they would go buy him shit, give him a little bit of pocket money. He had no money. The best thing he did is he made them give him his studio. But then they used that against him because they're saying, the overruns, the soundproofing, and he had to go back on tour. That man had made enough money in his life to get that thing built. And again, I don't understand why he left to go on tour. Just as I, all the time, wonder why Biggie sat in the bed for a year and didn't record, Jimi Hendrix recorded constantly. The same thing, I guess, with Tupac or whoever. Devin was saying the manager had him killed because of his mafia death, and Jimmy wanted to fire him because he was stealing the money. Jeffries, yeah, Jim Jeffries. He was also CIA, though. I believe Monica did it too because she was the last one to see him alive, and she waited a long time before she called the paramedics. Well, the other part is he really wasn't feeling her like that. They had kind of kicked her out of a party, and she kept coming, and he wouldn't answer. So he really wasn't, feeling her like that. He was just somebody she was kicking it with. So again, to say that he wouldn't understand sleeping pills. I mean, he was known to just pop pills. Again, he would take 2 or 3 hits of acid. That's how they poisoned him in New York to kill the band of gypsies. Is they gave him some bad shit. Acid can bring you down. It's not just how you tripping. It's like what they would say: you have a bad trip, a bad experience. So he was poisoned a few times. Jim Jeffries kidnapped him. It's a movie called The Gang. The book explains it more in the movie, but it's called The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. And that's the movie about the kidnapping of Jimi Hendrix. He was a meek dude. He's about 6 foot 6'1", meek dude. Here's some funny shit too. Is what were they called? What were they called? I can't tell the name of these ladies, but these ladies go around, and what they did in the 60s is they went to these entertainers and they measured. They made clay copies of their meat. I can't think of their names. I think the Jimi Hendrix movie shows this, but it's like some movie shows it. But these chicks would go around to these entertainers, and they said Jimmy started, getting down with the shit on him, and so there's cast of his shit, and I think they would say it was so big that they broke or some shit. But it's like it's not just him; it's about 20 or 30 of them where they've made cast of these dudes from the 60s, their stuff. But yeah, a lot of money went to Bermuda accounts. Jim Jeffries is another strange character. If you study him, Alex Douglas was the producer, but it was another dude where Jimmy would just sign anything. And so You know, he got stolen from a lot. And I'll say this about his sister: all that shit they call the bootleg. She came in like a hurricane. She owns all that shit. It's like you can't like they made a movie about Jimi Hendrix couldn't even play the music because she wouldn't release the rights to the music. So there's a movie about Jimi Hendrix. Ain't no Jimi Hendrix music in it. Now when Ed Harris played Jimi Hendrix, it's all in the movie. So she okayed the Ed Harris version. She wouldn't okay this other version. So that Andre 3000 played in. Ah, I thought Ed Harris did a little better job of his mannerisms than Andre 3000. I didn't really see where he copied his mannerisms as much. I thought Ed Harris did a better job. But movie wise, the Andre 3000 was a better movie, I thought. You mean Cynthia Plaster? Yes, Cynthia, the Plaster Casters. I could not, Ednice, thank you. I couldn't think of their name. Yes, the Plaster Casters. Yes, yes, them chicks. Yeah, in one of my Jimi Hendrix books, it showed a picture of this shit and with them because they were young girls when they was doing it. They was young girls, and they showed the pictures of the shit was in the book. Yes, the plaster casters. I would have never remembered that. I was sitting here trying to roll them wheels around in there to see if it would something that would bring it out. But yes, Cynthia the plaster casters. Yes, those chicks. Some movie. I don't think it's the Jimi Hendrix movie that shows that. That shows the exhibition. Maybe it is. I don't remember. It's getting late too. What time is it? Oh, okay. I ain't got really nothing to do tomorrow. Oh, so it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Somebody knock on your door. Well, we want to, take a, excuse me, we want to, make a thing of your rig. They called it rig over there. Like, are you kidding? No, we really like to. We'll get it all ready and plop it on there. Because I guess it got stuck on the hairs with him or something. And so as they was trying to pull it off, it was giving him a little, yes, Jay. Uh, at least groupies were creative. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. I mean, they show you a movie about a teenage boy that travels with a rock group. He ain't grown. It was a movie on recently of a teenage boy that traveled around with one of the rock groups and did a report and got to send it into one of the things. And then they show you the character. The character Kate Hudson plays with is supposed to be a teenage girl. What was his name? Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page was doing that like the killer. Jerry E. Lewis was doing the killer. Married his 13-year-old cousin. Jimmy Page was like that. All these dudes was dating this 16, 17-year-old girl. And Jimmy Page ended up with her. She was with Mick Jagger and all them that young. Shit, what is Mackenzie Phillips? She was saying her daddy was raping her and got her pregnant. And there's a story of her when she was 18, she was found on a corner just drunk as just fucked up. And you wonder, you had to go through that. Your daddy is a star, the mamas and the papas. And yet he's having sex with his fucking daughter. How nasty can that shit be? And remember, she was on a hit TV series, her and Valerie Bertinelli. She married the cat from Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen. Was married to Eddie Van Halen. But they put her on TV after going through all that. They still put her on TV. Do you see a lot of future crypto millionaires in the future? And do you see vigilantes in the future? That's what people are going to be forced into being vigilantes. The crypto thing is going to be interesting because this is kind of how you have to look at it. If there was a way you could still have power, you could still prove your holdings. And what I mean is, like, say they kill, they try to put an EMP to kill most of the computers. Well, say people got their shit shielded enough and they couldn't erase it. And long as you had a device that showed that money, they couldn't take it. Because that money basically does exist. I know people say, well, yeah, that money exists. And it can be moved around towards you. So I would say, but really, this is the problem that we face right now. People want to get rid of the cops. The cops are starting to do crimes. I've showed the example how they fired all the people from the clubs in Minneapolis that was getting overtime. That's been doing this for probably 30 years. That was the cops' second hustle. Be security at these clubs. That was cut out. All of a sudden, clubs got shootings. All of a sudden, it's a shooting downtown. So you telling me the only way to stop shootings downtown is there's cops is right there. But cops be on horses downtown. Cops still be on patrol club nights. So you saying if they ain't getting paid overtime and work for you, ain't nobody around there. This was caused by them. Carjackings. Now, back in my YBI days, taking a car, getting it cut up into a million pieces. And my cousin was YBI, not me. So I'll say that. I don't motherfucker come back, no, my cousin was. But you stole cars to take them apart. The car might sell for $800, might sell for $8,000 to $10,000 if you part it out. That's why cars were really dejacked. You can't steal cars now. You can't part them out. Because all the cars, almost all the parts have VINs. Even a little plastic part on the door got a number on it. So don't tell me that all of a sudden people just want to go joyriding. All of a sudden, people think you can just, what was the New Jersey Drive? Wasn't that stupid shit? Insulting why carjacking was happening. Made niggas look stupid. Niggas is just around joyriding. Ain't no business to taking the cars. It's just a status thing. Oh, you see him do it. I got to do it. Monkey see, monkey do shit. No. When it was done in Detroit, it was done to make money by parting the cars out. So you telling me it went up almost 150% here. Carjackings. So it's done by them. These people is fighting. And I told you how crooked the gang unit was here. People still ain't recovered their money. And they was able to roam here. That's why I'm glad the feds has come in. They didn't need to come into this area. Didn't have crooked police down in Minneapolis. That ain't nothing new. You got to remember what this area is. Remember the Dillinger movie? When they had a spot in Wisconsin where the gangsters could hide out? Well, that was what St. Paul was. St. Paul was known for where the gangsters could hide. So this area has always had a corruption part. Speakeasy been here and shit, that kind of shit. But it's always been a corruption aspect to the policing here. It's a history of the shit. It ain't been a lot of brothers here, They brought all these Somalians, and it's probably just as many Somalians as his brothers and sisters. It's more Hmong, definitely more Hmong. They brought almost 200,000 Hmong here originally, so it's more Hmong. I think Hmong are probably the biggest melanated group here. It's probably the Hmong. The movie you talking about, Almost Famous, Kate Hudson played a groupie. Yeah, she played a groupie teenage girl, but she's playing one of them teenagers that was going around. So they glorifying that shit is my point. They glorifying it. Because in that movie, they always hint that him and her about the same age. And we know he in high school. So this is something they've always glorified. Jerry Lee Lewis, though, just don't. Now, I know these Hill people, and remember how they shamed Ellie Mae Clampett? Ellie Mae was like 1920, and they used to shame her because she wasn't married at 1920. But again, the times where people was dying in their 30s and 40s. That was the point. People got, like, when I lived in North Carolina, I lived there from 79 to 85, the law was still a 12-year-old could get married. A 12-year-old girl could get married with her parents' permission. It was still on the books. And it was a case while I was there where a 12 or 13-year-old girl got married because it was the law. But that law was put there when it was people dying. People didn't live as long. You know, if a woman lived to be 35, 40, she, you know, but that's why those type of laws was put in there because people wasn't living this long. So times were different, but not when Jerry Lee Lewis was. Times wasn't different there. That he just married his 13-year-old cousin and then took her to England. He like didn't hide her and shit, didn't coach her or nothing, and it killed his loot over there. About killed his career. About killed his career. He had to start doing country, and he had one of the best nicknames of all time, the Killer, on stage. The Killer. He lit his piano on fire. So, but this is always fun coming to philosophize with people. You know, I have a good time with it. Uh, Thank you guys that hang in there. I appreciate it. I do appreciate the support. Um, it's just it amazes me that people sometimes mock the people that support them. I don't get that kind of thing. It's like you had Umar's like, I need more donations. Like he was dope fiending. I need more donations. Where's the, you know, he's dope fiending for the shit. It's like spirituality does have a price. It does have a price. Don't make me let me say that it doesn't. You know, these crystals cost, the internet cost. Of course, this is just a process. But this is the thing. I choose to pay internet. I chose to buy this computer. I chose to buy all these rocks. I chose to buy all these books. So if I wasn't doing this or not, I would still buy these motherfuckers. So I can't come at people and say, you know, to support me that I need, you know, I do this anyway. Mm. Every other city we go, I see the same hoes. Jerry Lee Lewis and Jimmy Swaggart are cousins. Yes, they are. Oh, and that Jimmy Swaggart shit. I was down in North Carolina, and that shit was so funny. They just straight up caught him with a hoe. This mug was, and in the Jim Baker shit. I went down. You know, Jim Baker was living like Michael Jackson. Jim Baker had an amusement park in his backyard. His dog had an air conditioner in his doghouse. He had a doghouse big as a damn shed you'd put a lawnmower and shit in with an air conditioner. And those that's from North Carolina know what I'm talking about, down in Charlotte. In his backyard was amusement park, bigger than Michael Jackson's. And you telling me they took him down because him and the guys pulled a train on this chick. It was all theater. And he's crying and shit. Oh, and all the chicks that wear them long eyebrows, Tammy Faye Baker was wearing that shit in the 70s and 80s. I told you that shit. You can watch Tammy Terrell wear that shit in 66, 67, singing Ain't No Mountain High. That shit ain't new. That ain't no new look. Well, they say the more things change, the more they stay the same, or the stuff rebounds. But all the girls think that's something new. That ain't new. But Tammy Faye Baker wore that shit. But with Jimmy Swaggart, he goes in church and he just cries, and they took him back. They take this dumb motherfucker back. People start giving him money. Jim Baker was a pimp with it though. Jim Baker would get on the TV and it's like, if you could only give me 50 cents, you could only give me a quarter. Get on them lines. And I mean, they was working people. They literally was working like old ladies. I mean, this is what people like even when I watch Match Me, it shows you the same kind of thing. It shows you the same kind of thing. It's a lot of lonely motherfuckers in the world. It really is. And it's the same thing where Jim Baker got people. He knew it was a lot of old ladies, a lot of people that had this money, and you know, it was like they could call in every day and get attention. They read your name. I mean, it was the same kind of hook. And it's the same thing on Match Me. It's a lot of hard up people, I'll say. Woman ain't doing nothing but sitting there. I mean, if I was just like playing music in the background, just doing this, I know this shit ain't funny, but it's kind of funny. There's a chick that's deaf on there. She's deaf. So she can't really talk. Do you understand? She can't talk, but yet she's on there. I mean, she can kind of say a few words or she can type them in, but motherfuckers be there asking her questions and shit. And I don't mean, everybody signing. Nobody's signing to her. But sometimes she just sit there. It be chicks just doing this. They'll look up. It's amazing. And it's like people don't want real content. That's what I don't understand. Just to look at a chick. OnlyFans. You get a better deal to me. Any guys out there doing match me, it's a better deal on OnlyFans. You can get what your heart's desire. But I guess some people is just born for soft porn. I guess maybe that's the hook. Some people just like soft porn. They don't like it rough. Baby, I like it raw. Baby, I like it raw. I guess some people just want it easy, like, okay, just look at a pretty girl. I don't really want to see her boobs and stuff. I just want a pretty head and okay. And yeah, if I give her a couple dollars, she'll say my name and act like we got a relationship. Fallen angels taught women makeup. Okay. I think I would disagree. You know what taught a woman makeup? Years ago, a woman was running and she fell in some goddamn mud. And she noticed that the mud on her face, when she took it off, it made her face shine. So everybody else started falling in the mud too, and they noticed that their face shined. But then some women noticed that when they took off the mud, their jaws was a little redder. So it not only shined, their jaws was a little redder. And some woman one time ate a bunch of strawberries and noticed that the strawberries made her lips redder. Somebody ate some blueberries and noticed that the blueberries made her lips blue. Somebody had a pumpkin dropped on their head and it turned their head yellow. So that's how they learned the women could change the colors of their head. It was me. I went back in the past and I was like, there goes Sharon. Bam! And Sharon was like, when she shook all her hair out and got all the seeds, her hair was orange. She was like, hey. So she walked around and she felt good. I thought she was going to jump on me, after I done threw the pumpkin on her head, but she was happy. Became a thing. She didn't know that she could just cut up the pumpkin and put it in her hair herself. She kind of liked me throwing it on her head thing. So we got creative. We got watermelons. That was my idea. I was like, hey, why don't you walk under the tree and I got a watermelon and it's really going to turn your hair colors. And she was with it. Knocked her down. The watermelon hit her on the head. She fell down, but her hair was red. So I had fun with it too. See, you guys didn't know I was in all these kind of things. So that's kind of how the makeup came. Again, Demolition Man shows you people won't be having sex in the future. It starts with cam sex. Then it gets virtual. Yeah, I agree with that part. I've read it before. When did you go from natural to artificial? When did makeup go from natural to artificial? That's a common TV or movies. It appeared like like I said, when I did quality at a slaughterhouse, they used every part of a cow but the hip bones. That's all. They kept cow blood because cow blood goes in makeup. Now I don't know if it's lipstick, I don't know, but they use cow blood in makeup. I don't know if I don't remember. Back then I did, but they use every part of the cow but the hip bones. And there was tankers there to get blood every day. I mean, tanker after tanker to get cow blood. They had a place that used the hides. Like I said, the Jewish faith people wanted the embryos because some of them cows they didn't care if they was pregnant or not. They cut them up, and if they was pregnant, they kept them embryos, and they went to this Jewish faith church in New York. There was a couple of them, but all was up in New York because I used to see the packages, and they would take this embryo that would be like baby cow, not born yet, but like like a nice sized dog. And they would blow it up and then they would inflate it and they would fold this shit into a box like this. The shit looked weird as hell. Because I'm like, how do they do this? So I went over to the dude that did it and boxed that shit up. They would put that shit that was what is this, about 3.5 feet? And they would blow them up like a balloon, and then they would take all the air out of them, and they would fold that shit up, and they went into a box that was no bigger than, what is this, about 18 by probably 10-inch box, something like that. Wasn't very big for this thing that was pretty big. So why? Why did they go from natural to artificial? Why did they go? Oh, okay. Cheaper. It's cheaper to do the artificial when you can put a little bit of natural, but it's cheaper. Like Comet, a lot of lapis. And let me see what happened to my lapis. I think I gave somebody my lapis pyramid. I don't have, oh no, I think it's right there. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. But yeah, lapis was artificial that they would put, you would see them, but makeup was all, I know the Cometans are the most popular using it, but they use that shit all over the world. All over the world, you know. So it's uh oh, that's one thing I've been said is yeah, I talked about that months ago about only being one company. I talked about that a while ago. Yep. Only being one company. Walmart too, Walmart, Amazon. Them the two names that might be in front of everything. Surprised that because of monopolies, they ain't letting them do the food. Because I would bet if Walmart and Amazon could do the food delivery, they would try to monopolize that, but they can't monopolize. So they say, even though they let pro sports be monopolies. Because they have no real competition. That was the good thing about the AFL and the NFL was real competition. You could play in one league or the other. I look at Gale Sayers. If Gale Sayers would have played for the Kansas City Chiefs, he would have still made the Hall of Fame in his life. He would have had a longer career. Instead, he goes from the team that never won, even though he was so great. A team that the year before they won the championship, but when he was there, worst in the league. And yet he made All Pro his first 5 seasons. He made All Pro every year. But he would have made All Pro in the AFL and had a longer career. I don't know if he would have got hurt on purpose, like they hurt him in the NFL. So not sure. Well, guys, I'm over 2 hours. I think I can't do no more. One comedian used to make fun of Patti LaBelle. I can't do no more. And I thank you guys for hanging out with me. They are switching up with the mask. Now the mask is the scarlet letter. That's good. So Jeffrey, it'll be me and you tomorrow. Is midnight cool for you? Probably work better for me. Tomorrow's Thursday. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me read this text first. Let me read this text again to see when she says she could do it. Because let me make sure it's not Thursday. Let me see what she said. I don't want to double book. No, I got. You know what, Jeffrey? If you could do midnight, I could bring my other guest on earlier. So yeah, she is coming on tomorrow. She said maybe tomorrow. So my other guest, but she's gonna want to go earlier. So if you can do midnight, we could probably still get it in. I'll just do 2 shows. That's all right. Because she says she has an 8 p.m. her time Zoom meeting. So that'll be 9 o'clock. Well, that'll be 7 o'clock my time. So if she's done before 10, which will be 9 for me, yeah, I could still probably do both shows. So yeah, so I did tell her tomorrow. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. So I probably could do 2 shows. I'll have her on first because she'll probably want to come on earlier, but she's on the East Coast too. But if you could do, okay, so if you could do midnight, then should be able to do both. So, well, thank you, Anise. And how did you sleep last night? Did you sleep good last night from the meditation? And nobody said, did the meditations help? I mean, did you guys get a feel for the way she did it? No one really said. A couple people did. A couple people said they felt the energy, and that's what it's all about. Because there's no, that this is the thing about meditating. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's whatever you can find to get you to trance, because that's true meditation is transing. You know, and so there's no evilness to transing. It's a state of being in between, and that's kind of how you move through all this. You know, um, I liked what Crazy Sarge said is I like the hallways because I'm trying to teach more than just meditating. I'm actually trying to teach how to connect to the ribbons of time and giving you a reference point. So that's kind of what I teach. I want to teach these reference points of how this stuff can move and how the ribbons of time are just that. It goes forward and backwards. It's all right there. And so that's why my way is a little different, but there's no one way or no right way, no wrong way. But I just use a different reference because I'm trying to teach a different way. That's all. And so if some of you, if one person can benefit from that, then I did my thing. Y'all just were like, shit, I didn't see shit. That's okay too. At least you cool and you hung in there. But this takes practice. I mean, it takes practice. Like I've meditated 3 times separately today, 3 times. So I meditate when I take my shower. That's when I pray. I pray when I take my shower. I have a piece of like this kind of Motivite I take a shower with. I have a bar, and I actually rub it on my skin because Motivite is mined out of water. So, and I want to show this. If you get this kind, that's not the royal, make sure it has these kind of things in it. And a lot of times this is quartzite, and then you can get pyrite in them too. Let me see if any pyrite's in this. A little bit of gold flakes. Oh, here's a good one. Yeah. But you want the quartzite in it. So it's okay that it looks like this. It doesn't have to look like the royal. It's okay if it looks like this. Still get a lot of energy out of this. And just as I show my cube, where's it at? Just as I show my pyrite cube, it's up here somewhere. I want to say this for people that practice flat plane, something like this really is helpful. This is strong. My pyramid is really strong. Um, the thing about my pyramid, though, when the girls were young, one of the girls, I had it. They were young. They were like 4 or 5, but one of them, I don't know how did they reach up there. But one of them, maybe I had it on the table, and one of the girls took it and she rubbed it against the fireplace bricks and kind of did something to the top. So my daughter said her friend did it, her god sister did it. Just some evilness to me, but a child. So, but something like this, if you really wanted to work with flat plane, this will get you there. Probably even stronger than pyrite could get you there. And you would just put your consciousness, yeah. If you put that in your consciousness and you kind of got in touch with this, it could put you there. Just be prepared, land of illusion. But you could work with this. Far as protection, the eggs are the strongest. This is going to give you about 6 to 8 feet of protection. The egg is going to give you about 16 feet of protection. But this will give you about, in every direction, about 8 feet of protection. That's the good thing about this. I'm going to put this one here on this table so it'll feed salt lamps. If you have salt lamps, this is way better, way better. And even like I said, the protection with the kyanite and having the having a apophyllite in there. And look how sweet this piece is. I broke it, carried it, and I've had it for so long. But this is a sweet piece. But you have these near salt lamps. It's going to amplify what the salt lamps do. So if any crystal, this is the crystal to have, Shugite. It's going to be the most protective. Again, it'll connect the inorganic with the organic and fullerness. That's what fullerness is. So thank you, everyone. I try to meditate in the sun. That's what I did, Dr. Monenstar Stroke. I meditated in the sun today. Sundown, definitely sundown. May 1st, I'm going to start meditating sun up. I'm going to get all of it. If I am late, that means I am fighting crime. Okay, Jeffrey, just get in and I'll send you the link. When you hit me on Messenger, send your email too. So I have your email and I could just put it in. I ain't got to ask you for it and wait for it on this. Just send me your email. And yeah, because I have a guest. And then the Awaken one is going to be on Friday night. Looks like I might have 2 guests, if not Jeffrey B, but maybe the other guest coming out of the New York area coming on tomorrow. But yeah, I meditate in the sun too. That's what I talked about when I first started. I got a couple hours in, matter of fact, a couple hours of sun going down. And what's interesting, I've talked about how slow, how fast the sun will run away when you try to meditate with it when it's going down. Today it kind of lingered. Usually when I catch the sun like that, it just runs away, but not today. It kind of lingered up there. So it was interesting. Sun or simulator, whichever one. It looked more like the simulator. But well, thank you, everybody. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your host, 8-Wind Eagle, or 8-Wind is Timeless, or the Time Lord, however you know me. But as you know, I always end with Eshan's poem, and it goes a little something like this. I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everyone who watches us now or in the future. Till we meet again.